Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we're going to be having a garage review of the B1, the new French Tier 4 Heavy. Now this is one of only two Tier 4 Heavies in the game, the other one of course being the DW2, German Tier 4 Heavy. And from experience with the DW2, I wasn't holding out much hope for another Tier 4 Heavy, because let's face it, the DW2 is awful. It really is. It's not a good tank. It's really not very much fun to drive. But do you know what? I kind of like this thing. It does the job. It really does. Stock, it is awful. Absolutely awful. And in fact, if we go into the research tree, have a look at its stock. 180 horsepower for the engine. Aiming time's not bad at 1.7. Accuracy's bloody awful. Traverse speed 26. It's a heavy. Turret traverse speed though 46, which is really good. 300 meter view range, which I think is about average for down at tier 4. The gun 26 rounds a minute, 25 penetration, and 50 average damage. Awful. And as you can see there, 46 with premium. And it doesn't get much better when you start upgrading it. You get 45 pen, still 26 rounds a minute. Your accuracy increases slightly to 0.46, but the aiming time also increases to 1.7. 55 average damage, 45 pen, 79 on your premium rounds. And it's still that engine. It is very, very, very sluggish with that smaller engine. Now, when you do finally get the upgraded engine and tracks, you get an increased traverse speed to 28, and you get 307 horsepower on the engine, which makes a big difference. In fact, it actually makes this tank quite manoeuvrable. I wouldn't say nippy, but it does reach its top speed and sustain it quite well actually. And it does seem to be very, very manoeuvrable, especially for a heavy tank. When you do get it upgraded, your turret, I think, yeah, this seems to be the thing with the French. When you get the upgraded turret, you'll normally get more armor, or you'll get an increased view range, etc. But you get a decreased turret traverse, and that seems to be, well, with the low tier French tanks, that does seem to be what happens. You do get a decrease in turret traverse. So as you can see there, the turret armor is 40 all round, traverse speed 46. We upgrade the turret, we get traverse speed of 44, we get an increased view range of 330 meters, but we also get increased turret armor of 46 all round. The gun also is better, and again I looked at the penetration and the damage, and I was getting a bit concerned still, but it does the job. It really does. I take a small supply of premium ammo with me, about 10 I think it is, and I think the only things I've had to use it on are Matildas and a Panzer II-J, and even though I've got 66 mil of penetration, getting around the side of a Panzer II-J, well, I say it's not really that hard, but the only thing I'd shoot at was the front of it for most of it, and then I just forgot to swap back to the ammo when I got around the side. But 28.5 rounds a minute, it is a very, very fast firing gun, and even though it's only 55 damage per shot, it really does build up very, very quickly. Aiming time 1.5, which is pretty good, and accuracy of 0.38, which to be honest is pretty good. Like I say, I don't bother with the high explosive for anything. You know, just stick to your normal armor piercing and take a supply of AP rounds. You'll be happy that you take a small supply of AP rounds, and the way I look at it is I would rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. And that's why I will always take a small supply of premium ammo, whatever vehicle I'm in, for those just in case moments. You know the kind of things. In fact, let me bring it off that. You know the sort of things, you know, when you need to penetrate, basically. It's the last tank of the game, you're the last one left, you need to make sure your shots penetrate. Yeah, that's the kind of time that you'd use them. So let's have a look at the actual armor of the tank and a few more other stats. 430 hit points, which, I mean, if we compare it to the tier 4 medium, 350, 430, it's a heavy, so you would expect it to have more. Oh, sorry, 30 kilometers now, not 35. And like I say, it does get there and it does sustain it quite well. You get, well, we've been through the chassis rotation, 28 degrees, turret 44 degrees, full upgrade, rate of fire 28.5, which is really good. Armour 60mm front and sides, 55 on the rear. Upgraded turret is 46 all round. Now the obvious comparisons are going to be quite clearly with the DW2, seeing as it's the only other tier 4 heavy. Both of them get premium matchmaking. They will not see anything higher than tier 5. And I think on both of them that's probably down to the gun. This does seem faster and more manoeuvrable than the DW2, but we'll have a look at the DW2 stats in just a moment. Now, unlike the DW2, which I think has 50mm all round, this has 60 on the front and the sides. The sides are very flat. This is a good tank for side scraping down at tier 4, and people just don't expect it. They do not expect you to side scrape down in the lower tiers, and it is a good tank for side scraping down in the lower tiers. And unlike the DW2, which is mostly flat on the front, this has got some angling on the front, as you can see there. Now, that flat bit for the driver's hatch, I can't confirm it because we don't have an armour inspector on the console, and hopefully Wargaming will bring one to us at some point. But I suspect that that driver's hatch, maybe not where it's thicker, but definitely underneath it will be a weak spot, and even if it isn't a weak spot, it is flatter than the rest of the front of the tank. And I'm also pretty sure, but again can't confirm it, that that gun mounting on the front is also a weak spot. From playing in games and going against these, I think I had more luck penetrating there than I did anywhere else on the front. And also, unlike the DW2, the turret is smaller and it's a hard target to hit, and it's, well, look at it, it's really well angled from the front. It's got a big thick gun mantle, and it's got some good angling on it from the front. You do have, as with a lot of things, you do have the commander's cupola on the top, which I'm pretty damn sure is a weak spot. But again, if you're at a distance, you've got the accuracy that lots of other vehicles at this tier don't have. And, you know, they do struggle to hit your turret, and when they do, it tends to bounce. Don't rely on it, like, you know, I always say, don't rely on your armour to bounce. If it bounces, brilliant. But, you know, the best defence is just not getting hit. So, let's go into the German tech tree and just have a look at the DW2 stats. I don't have the DW2 anymore because it's shit, so I got rid of it. Let's have a look at it fully upgraded. So, there we go, you see 32 degrees a second traverse on the DW2, which is more than the B1, but for some reason I feel that the B1 felt more manoeuvrable. Turret traverse, B1 has it beat by a couple of degrees. Now, the DW2 does have better turret armour, but it's a bigger, flatter turret and it's easier to hit. So I would call the B1 having the advantage there. Same view range. Now, I don't know about the weight. That's something that we don't have the details for on the console version, but I think I've got it on the Tankopedia, on the companion for my phone. Now, let's have a look. The B1 is 29.4 tons, which I'm not going to work out the power to weight ratio at the minute, but it's not going to be very good. And if we have a look at the DW2, now fully upgraded, that weighs 29.9 tons, so just shy of 30 tons, and it's got a smaller engine. So the DW2 does have it, the B1 does have it beat on engine power, and speed, well, acceleration should I say, definitely has it beaten on aiming time, 2.2 seconds on that gun. Has it beaten on rate of fire? The DW2 has 25, obviously the B1 has 28.5 rounds a minute. DW2, all these bloody letters, has it beaten on penetration slightly for the standard rounds by 1. Has it beaten a lot on the premium rounds? I think the B1's 99, and obviously as you can see there the DW2 is 130, and the DW2 has you beaten on damage as well. I mean 70, that's 15 more damage. However, the B1, if we look at that again, It's the accuracy I want to bring up. Sorry. There we go, 0.38 accuracy, so about the same accuracy, but a lot faster aiming time, which means you can get your shots off a lot quicker, because you can aim faster and get back into cover. I mean, there's not really much more to tell. It's a tier 4 heavy tank. Don't expect miracles, but it is a damn good tank. In fact, I put a game up yesterday that my wife did and got 10 kills in this thing. So, you know, it's a tough little bugger. But anyway, enough talking about it in the garage. Let's get into a couple of games and see how it actually plays. So here we are on Sand River, a tier 4 match, and it's a standard battle. We're on the night variant. And I don't know if I mentioned the gun depression before, but it's got minus 10 degrees of gun depression, which isn't bad actually. Now, I know I'm a top tier heavy, and a lot of them normally go down to sort of the south and then along the west and fighting out in the dunes. But I'm quite nippy. It's a tier 4 match. There's not a lot of stuff in here that's particularly fast. I mean, I think there's a Locust PS on the other team, which is quite fast. But as you can see, it's quite a quite a nippy tank. It says 30 kilometers an hour, and you know, on flat ground it'll do 30 quite easily, and it's trundling up here at a nice pace. Now, there's not really many of us coming this way. There's me and an Electo, and I do say to pay attention up here, and I think somebody else does say affirmative and start working the way up here. But a lot of the time the enemy, they'll come over this pass up in the hills here, or they'll come in at around C, D, 5 and 6 in the middle of all those dunes. In fact, just where that tank destroyer's just popped up. So the Electo's gone racing on ahead, and just like his brothers in the Hellcat and the T-67, he's about to get himself into some trouble. There we go. Locust PS that I mentioned. Put a shot into him. He obviously didn't realise I was here. I don't think he'd have come blazing straight out there. Get another shot into him. He's moving slow over those rocks, so it's easy to hit him. Right, got to keep an eye out, see if we can save this Electo. Locust has dropped down. What's this here? An M5 Stuart. Let's see if we can get some shots into him. Minus 10 gun depression, but not quite enough to get over that bit. Oh, there's that Locust. Can I get a shot into him? Yes, I can. Oh, no, I missed. You don't normally miss with this gun at that range. That was just me being crap. Oh, and there's an Electo here, and that's very dodgy. I've not got much of a shot on him, but I managed to get one in and it makes him back off. That Stuart's coming round, and I have no idea where that shot went. That Electo shoots and misses again. Well, misses again. Misses for the first time. I don't miss the Electo. Put another one into him, and this is what I mean. Just look at that rate of fire. It is fantastic. Right, the Electo, I think that was, is done for, unless he's pulled back. No, Locust PS. See if we can finish him off. Don't miss him that time, and that's him done. Let's see if we can get rid of this M5 Stuart. A lot of people aren't used to the rate of fire on this thing just yet, and it catches them by surprise. Right, that's the Stuart finished off, and I have taken one little bit of damage, maybe? None? I don't think I've taken any, no. Right, it's a DW2 up here, the other T4, tier 4 heavy, should I say. He's taking care of that medium, M2 medium. I can't get my words out. Right, so that seems to be this northeastern corner cleared, and it's ours. And we're in the lead 8-5, but that doesn't mean we're going to win. And somebody's capping, or they were, I think it was a light tank. He's either moved out or he's been destroyed. He's not on the map anymore, so... Oh no, there he is, he's going after Artie. Come on Artie, defend yourself. Can you do it? Come on. No, Artie's done. Right, now... Oh, they've brought the scores up to 8-7. Now, there's their artillery, which will be near their base. They'll not move very far. There's a light tank and a heavy on the map. And there's still a couple of light tanks and another heavy unaccounted for. Oh, there's the other heavy. Still got a couple of light tanks unaccounted for though. Oh, there's one of them, another M5 Stuart. See, nice quick aiming time, but just not quite fast enough. Now you can, when you're in top tier matches like this, when you're, you know, you're the top dog, you can afford to play this thing quite aggressively. You know, his armour will stop a lot of shots. There's some that it won't, you know, you do have to be careful with a few tanks, but the rate of fire just annihilates your enemies. It really does, so you can afford to play this quite aggressively. Oh, and Vesper's just taken out my gunner and my tracks. I've got to use a repair kit to get him back up and running, because I'm out in the open and he knows where I am, and he probably knows that he's tracked me. Right, let's see if we can get the other artillery and return the favour. And if you can hear a banging noise in the background, that's our pet rabbit, who for some reason is stamping his head off. He doesn't like something. Well, tough to him. Right, where's that other artillery? He's around here somewhere, that's where the shot came from. Oh, there he is. There's the best bit. It's 1, 2, 3. See, it takes 3 shots to finish off an RT, but it fires them so quickly it don't really matter, and I don't even know what that was that just got killed then. Now, there's a light tank left, and there's a heavy. We've got a tank destroyer down there. I am not going to get back down to the other end of the map in time. Not at all. So hopefully that tank destroyer can reset the cap, but there's 2 of us in here, so we should still win anyway. Unless that other heavy makes it into the base, and then he is going to need to definitely reset the cap. Normally I would try and get back, but like I say, I'm just not fast enough. And with the 2 of us here, we should be able to cap, and the tank destroyer resets the cap. That definitely makes sure of it. Even if that other heavy got in there, we'd still win by capping. See, there is a time and a place for capping. This was one of them. Now it's just a case of sitting here, no idea where that heavy is, but last he was seen, he was down near the village, right down on the south there, so he's not going to get back anytime soon. And that's it. Not a bad round. 5 kills, I'm happy with that. And there we go, 1,716 XP, 34,000 credits, although 7,500 was for the op and a second class mastery. 912 damage done. Now bear in mind it only does 55 damage per shot, but that's still not bad, and 5 kills. Alright, I've got one more replay coming up, and I think that one's on Severogorsk. So here we are on Severogorsk. It's another tier 4 match, and as I said in the garage, it does have preferential matchmaking, so you'll never see above tier 5, and to be honest, this is what you tend to see, is just tier 4 matches. I was hoping to get into a tier 5 match to show you before I uploaded the video, but I just couldn't get into one. I just kept getting tier 4 matches all the time, so you know, I've been in tier 5 matches in it, but not very often. My advice to you when you're in a tier 5 match in this thing is, depending on what's on the other team that is tier 5, I mean, play it more cautiously. Don't play it as aggressively as you would do in a tier 4 match. There are still certain tanks in a tier 4 match that you have to be wary of that can easily penetrate your armour. But don't play it as aggressively in a tier 5, and there are certain things that you need to be wary of, Churchills in particular, because unless you're willing to pay a lot of money for some premium ammo, and you'd still have to put it into the sides, maybe the odd weak spot on the front, but more than likely the sides or the rear of it, or unless you're in a position to just shoot at the rear of it, it's going to cause you some serious problems. Now Marder 38T is one of those that you've got to be wary of. I've got to try and get across here. It just whatever's shooting at me just seems to be bouncing. It's not the Marder. No, it's that T28, is it? and it just kept bouncing. We've got one of the new French tank destroyers, the SAU-40 down there, with that massive backwards facing turret on top that you just can't seem to hide. It reminds me of quite a lot of the AT's commander's hatches. Right, that's him finished off. I just love the rate of fire on this gun. If it had more pen and damage, it would be overpowered. Got to be wary of that Marder. But yeah, when you're in a tier 5 match, play it more like a heavy medium, in a supporting role. You've got, I mean, the accuracy is not bad actually. You'll hit most of your shots at range. Oh, Panzer 2J. Heavily armoured machine. That's something you've got to be wary of in a tier 4 match. So I've put the premium on, and I can put it straight through the front of him. Don't really need it for the side, but it was loaded. And then we'll swap back. Oh, somebody's killed my gunner. That took a lot of fire then, really. I really should have been a lot more cautious there against that Panzer 2J, but most Panzer 2J drivers are seal clubbers, not all of them, most of them, and I wanted to take it down. Right, let's get rid of this Lee. I'm just poking my turret over there, so he's not got a very big target to shoot at all. And you can see the rate of fire, even though it's only 55 damage, it soon builds up and you just take them down. AMX-38 is a tough little target from the front as well. I'm trying to hit that driver's hatch on the front and I just can't seem to get it. And I've taken another big hit. To be honest, I am being quite careless in this match. I think it's another Marder 38T up there. And I really should have taken more care of myself, so let's actually do some proper tanking and do some side scraping, which people don't tend to expect at tier 4. And to be honest, I should have done this sooner. I was just being a bit careless. So used to this machine just bouncing shots from most of the things it comes up against. I forget about things like Marder 38Ts. And like I say, these AMXs are tough from the front. If we can just get... No, tracked him. Managed to get one through, but he finishes me off. And if I'd have been less careless and actually done the side scraping from the start, we probably would have had a better time of it there. But there you go. That's the B1. So I hope it's been useful for you. I hope you've got some decent information from it, and maybe you might try out the French tank line for yourself. Well, the heavy tank line, should I say. It is definitely a viable alternative to the DW2 if you want a tier 4 heavy, you want to get into heavy as soon as possible. And personally, I would recommend this one over the DW2. I really would. It won't take you long to get it, so maybe give it a try. Well, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and if you have, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.